Geek Dad Life presents live reactions to Season 3 of The Mandalorian. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to live reactions of Mandalorian Season 3. My name is Jay, and with me on this journey of... Wait, what's that noise?
Oh, that was my mouse. Excuse me.
So unprofessional.
Is your mouse made of a boulder?
Well, I knew that we weren't on a podcast, so I just thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and...
Oh, it sounds awful. You can't. It's so loud. It's so loud.
I have a pad now. I have a mouse pad. Went straight to the...
Is it made of rocks?
Find it. Yeah, it is. It is.
Oh, my God.
I'll move my notes out of the way.
Anyway.
I'm never invited back, so for haters of me...
Nobody hates you. Nobody hates you, man. We all love you here. But anyway, excited to be talking about episode 3 of Mandalorian. See what I
see what you did there.
Everybody's done that joke. Did you do that this morning, Ralph?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I did not. And I also didn't say that I felt like this was trying so hard to be Andor, but looks so much cheaper. Like it was like
I didn't find that at all. You thought it looked cheap.
Yeah, I didn't
find that at all.
I don't know.
All right. Well, let's wait a second for Ralph hating on everything.
Well, I mean, listen, like Andor, the bar that Andor set is nuts.
Sure.
So it's just funny them trying to. Oh, sure, he'll put the mute for his cough, but.
Anyway, people are saying they hear an echo. I don't hear an echo. Do you gentlemen hear an echo?
I do not hear an echo.
Echo.
Yeah, I'm not picking up one, but
turn off the Bad Batch and watch this show.
Well, here's the thing. Bad Batch is actually last week's was pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't catch this week's yet, so
I haven't either. I haven't.
The last week's was really good, right? You finally got
it was very good. Mike Giello, good. I can feel Ralph's anger. What's that? Got Mike Hex here, Everyday Adventures, Mike Giolico, Back to Verse, KMD Baby, and of course, Mike.
Can I say something right off the bat?
Please, yeah. For sure.
This might be my favorite episode of Mandalorian. Okay, so there's that. I'm not kidding you.
Was it okay? But was it because you? Oh, hold on. Oh, was it because you basically had an Andor episode in this episode?
It was Andor light. It was Andor adjacent, but it does have to do with like world building.
Yeah. And
it's centered around a character who I felt for, a character who had like ambitions, a character that
which one
wasn't trying to be accepted by a crazy cult.
Which one? So you got to narrow it down even further.
Are we getting like are people mad? I haven't really been on Star Wars Twitter today. Are people kind of mad the way they were with a Book of Boba Fett episode being about a different character?
That's a great question, Matt. Have you seen anything on the internet?
I was just curious.
I just my brother who was blowing me up this morning. It was just like least favorite episode, and I was like,
really?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, no spoilers. So then because he's a big Boba Fett fan, I said, so did they kill off Boba Fett again? I laughed about that one for a while. Anyway, I mean, so I kind of knew. I was like, okay, something's going to be up with this.
Yeah.
Just because of how he was reacting to it. So I was kind of already kind of going in like, okay, something's going to be different. So,
well, I got to admit, in one of our group chats, Matt, I think maybe it was a different act. Maybe it was the one I have with the YHS guys, but there was, or was he? I don't know, I've lost track of all the different chats I'm in, but
it's so popular.
No,
this guy over here.
Listen, okay. It's talking about Star Wars nerd stuff, but it was that Mandor, Lorian thing. Was that in our group chat, Matt, or was that a different group chat?
No. No.
So that kind of spoiled me. I was like, oh, it's got to be something dealing more with bureaucracy, politics, or whatever. And Lord, did they give it to us? But it was
a little bit though. But it was centered around one character and his sort of journey through the post-Empire world.
Yes.
And I thought it was nice because it really wasn't about politics. It was about people who were in sort of this draft, and
Yeah.
them sort of being trying to like reacclimate themselves into society, but doing it in this very like off-putting
Sterile.
way. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
procedural. I mean,
It reminded me more of the parts of Andor in the prison than the political stuff.
Yeah.
Also interesting too that like in this, they basically have a letter and a number. Like TK Food 421.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
they're still stripping them of any identity.
Right.
So key to any cult, you get stripped of your identity.
Yeah, I found it fascinating just because it kind of sets up how the New Republic got a lot of things wrong, which led to the First Order, right? In the sequel series. Oh,
I forgot about something in this episode that
I think
absolutely is the worst thing ever in the Disney era for Mr. Ralph.
Whoa, okay.
Okay.
We'll get to that later, yeah.
Contrary to the fact that you liked or loved this episode, I don't want to stretch your words there.
No, I really did. I honestly, 100%. I really liked it for the world building. I think one of my main issues with Mando is there's really not a whole lot of story. I feel like this is one of the few cases that we really get into the meat of post Empire New Republic era. There are stuff we have seen stuff from sort of the outskirts, from the Outer Rim and stuff. Yeah. And in this one, we see it from the rich people pretty much crapping on the Outer Rim, like they're less than, and then this whole thing with this new like indoctrination of or like reinserting soldiers and imperial officers and stuff back into society. Like all of this stuff I found super interesting. Mando has essentially been like one man's problem. He's making his way through the universe. He has issues with his identity as far as the clan he's part of, them not accepting him, Bo-Katan's side not accepting, but it all centers around him and Grogu. Yeah. This is fleshing out what's going on around the galaxy that doesn't affect this dude flying around the Outer Rim. Like Tatooine and Navarro and stuff. Yes. So we get little hints of that with not Moff Gideon, a little with Moff Gideon, but the dude Werner Herzog's character. Yes. Yeah. And we get little bits in season 1, like this is kind of where we are, and this is kind of what's going on. But this really shows like Coruscant. This is the first time we've seen Coruscant, right? Post Return of the Jedi. So for me, I was like, okay, this is what I want to see. Yeah.
I mean, this is at least from them tearing down the statues at the end of Return of the Jedi in that scene. This is the first we've gotten like this era, So, and we even got that little like thing where he's getting the data thing and he's reading or listening.
But the history of what do they call it? Like a pentopolis or whatever they were called?
Monopolis. I wrote it down and I was just like, they say it so quickly. Monopolis.
The photon fizzles.
Yes.
But can I just say, Ecumenopolis, whatever.
Nailed it.
But the thing that I found interesting, or the most interesting, or I don't know, maybe it's not that interesting, but like the planet is just covered with a mega city, except for basically probably Mount Everest. There's just a little tip of it, and that's the only natural planet.
And this has been in books before. I've read it. I've at least, so when this came up, I was like, oh, okay.
Stevie told me that it appears in the Lego Star Wars game as well.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Because she brought it up like right as they were approaching it, and she's like, "Oh, that's like the mountaintop. It's in Lego Star Wars. It looks just like that in Lego Star Wars."
I know I've read about it in other books because I've always imagined it. So that was the first time that I had seen it, at least from my memory. So, and of course, it's always cool to see some of these things in real life, even if they're Real
I like
life,
it real life.
Real life.
Live
But-
action.
So this Dr. Pershing
Pershing.
Story I found really compelling until the very end when he just gets his brain scrambled.
Okay, now this is the part where I'm just kind of like left hanging on the plot thread here, where it's like, you know, this whole interaction between him and Elia Kane. Is that yeah. And her character, which I loved, I enjoyed her character, and at some point I didn't know who I was rooting for.
Sure,
I was like, is this you know, until that moment where she's like turning up the juice, you know, and you can tell that she's enjoying it. And this ties back to the beginning of the opening scene where you see her coming in listening to his lectures. So she was already aware of him
from the beginning.
She's still working for Gideon, right? We all think that she's still working for Moff Gideon.
I mean, that would be and I mean, they even had them with the rumors of Moff Gideon, like did he escape? Did he get the mind flare? Right.
That's not going to be.
I felt like this whole thing was like, okay, here's this other steak that we got cooking over here while Mando's story is going on, and we have to put this in here because it's going to pay off in episode 8. So.
But okay, so then where does it go from there then? Because I was just like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Because the whole cloning thing makes sense. They got to make the Snoke, right? So like to me, the whole time I was like, oh, they're gonna go out, and this is like the very beginnings of the first sword, yada yada. But then she's like, oh no, I'm just gonna fry him.
Right.
Because he has info about Baby Yoda.
So she's good. She's like doing it for the greater good.
She's doing it for Gideon, so his work doesn't get out.
Oh,
his cloning work. He's a cloner.
Yes,
but Gideon wasn't
essentially wiping his.
He
was with Pershing. Pershing was with Gideon.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, so here's this guy that's running around, can go blab on us. Send Aaliyah out to fry his brains. Make him forget all the stuff he knows, so that he's like essentially C-3PO at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Like, wipe his memory. He can't say anything about it.
Wouldn't you think that he would be an asset because of all of this cloning knowledge? That was the thing that I was kind of like.
Maybe they got to a place where they don't need him anymore.
Yeah.
Because was it on Navarro where they saw those almost look like Snokes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Ralph. I think they've probably already got what they need.
Navarro is the city that they lived. Oh yeah, no, they had a complex there. That's right.
It was the one with Gene's guy. Remember Gene's guy was at that complex. Yeah, they had some people in tubes, and Pershing was there. Or there was a message from Pershing or from Moff Gideon, one of them. And they had what sort of looked like Snoke, which I'm assuming is like a rejected version of them cloning Palpatine.
Yes. Yeah.
And that rejected clone, Snoke, who was like this abomination, broke free, being inundated with so much Baby Yoda DNA midichlorian clone cells. So he like broke free, and he's like, I'm all powerful. I'm starting a new order. And it was like kind of a messed up, like half Emperor brain that created the First Order. So they're kind of like the Empire, but now it's a new thing.
See, I thought, and again, I've only seen Rise of Skywalker once because somebody didn't invite me onto their show to talk about it, so I didn't have a chance to watch it again. But
what show would that be? I don't know.
The Emperor said that he was Snoke the whole time, or whatever. It was.
He said it was everybody. He said it was every voice in his head.
Yeah. Or it was Palpatine all along. There we go. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I totally get it. He was expendable. I thought it was shocking in a way. So even if maybe it doesn't go anywhere, I still thought it was a compelling story, just because this is a guy that, I mean, and it was even made more so compelling because I recently went to Germany, and there's just the history of, you know, the Nazi takeover of Germany, and went to Nuremberg and saw what the Nuremberg trials were. And it's kind of similar to what they're doing here. They've had these trials, and some people were sent to death, and some people were like, well, I was just, I had no choice, but I had to do this stuff. So it's it's fascinating with that, or just seeing that history, or just having that context seen in real life, and seeing it play out here, where this person was like, I wanted to do good, I still want to do good. I'm just trapped in another bureaucracy now, and I could be helping the Republic, and it being taken advantage of to his demise.
Yeah, because he was doing stuff with the Imperials that, of course, were questionable because it's the Empire, but there was some good in there, like cloning. You can, like the way they were talking about it, and possibly using cloning for like spare parts for people or sicknesses or cure anything. There's always something else you can do. Like I don't know, what he was working on, about to work on. It seems like she was real interested in taking that box away from him.
Yeah.
To probably continue his work. But yeah, I mean, Pershing was a character that we knew nothing about and got kind of his full story.
Yeah.
And it was interesting.
Yeah. So is this the end of Dr. Pershing?
No. His brain's gonna be jacked up. Maybe Baby Yoda has to go in and retrieve memories or something. I don't know.
Ooh.
That sounds far-fetched. But I feel like maybe they'll clean his slate of everything that he's known before, as far as
maybe
Yoda,
he'll be like
Gideon,
a Swiss cheese memory, like Dr. Sam Beckett, and he'll have like holes of memory. So yeah, I'm just not sure exactly where they're going with that. I kind of got the feeling like, oh, we're definitely going to see this Kane again, and I hope this pays off.
Go ahead.
It just felt like they shoehorned in like Book of Boba Fett style. Like, here you go. Here's the Snoke story that you didn't think that you wanted.
Yeah, but it turned out good.
I'm with you on the world building for sure. And there was like a lot of cool things, like that whole scene where he was drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Like it's like, that watered down milk or lemonade or whatever that was that they were drinking. Some of that stuff I really kind of enjoyed, just like the tension and the opening sequence. Obviously that's where a lot of there was money throughout this whole episode, like even
let me just
Coruscant.
lesson real quick this theory from Mike before we move on from the middle section here. Mike Hex says theory is that G68 like Kane is really Omega.
What happened to her accent? And why was she 40 years old now? Mike, I was doing the math.
But here's the thing. I thought the exact same thing the whole time. But I don't watch Bad Batch. But this has to be like 20 years later, right? Bad Batch takes place right before Star Wars.
It takes place right after Revenge of the Sith.
Which is
basically 19 years before Star Wars. So you have 20 years just to get to Star Wars, and then we have another at least
Star
11
Wars is
years.
only like 4 years. So really,
so she could be like,
but we're
30?
5 years
She'd be
after.
like 30 or something.
Remember, we're 7 years after Return of the Jedi because season 1 started 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Now we're 2 years past season 1. So
she'd be like, what, 35?
She if she's 10 in Bad Batch, my figures put her plus 40. She'd be 50 years old. But of course, Bo-Katan should also be a lot older too.
Yeah.
So,
but also she would be a clone, and they have the ability to speed up the aging process and possibly slow it down.
Well, I think she's like an altered clone. She's like they made her when they made Boba Fett, right?
But Boba has also aged. So Boba and Omega are supposed to be the same age.
You're right. But Boba is seen
or I guess Omega is younger than Boba.
Sorry. She is. I thought they made them both at the same time.
She's the last of his strain, I guess, or like the last of pure clone, right? Okay. So sorry. That's the grossest thing I've ever said on the show.
Boba Fett's strain.
Jay's going back through and just editing out what I said. It's the last of Boba's. Okay. I'm still saying though, she would still be at least 40 years old. Like she would be much older. I mean,
maybe they have like that, Back to the Future Doc Brown.
Kanan, the most would be like 29, but she looks like she's 24. So, but what do I know? I'm 46. So
And you look great for 46.
thanks.
And Ralph, aren't you like 46 as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, you both look great for 46.
Thanks. Yeah.
I'm in late 30s and I look like I'm freaking dying half the time. So
We didn't want to say anything.
Huh?
We just wanted to accept your compliments.
Oh, okay, I won't say anything.
I'm digging the hat though.
Thank you.
I'm digging the pose.
GDL cap takes at least 10 years off you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm digging the pose in the wide arm.
Ah! Oh, is that Ralph?
You were sitting like this.
Me?
And yeah, you had your arm up like this. You had a like resting your other one.
That's my focus hand move.
You had resting arm face.
But yeah, speaking of this hat, you can get it yourself at the GDL merch store. So if you go to the description, there's a link right there on the top, and get yourself sweet GDL hats, GDL shirts, GDL hoodies, as well as toy hats, hoodies, and shirts.
You know what's funny is this is from Super 7, this shirt.
That's ironic.
Figured I'd give you guys some goodwill towards the Super 7 crowd.
We don't hate Super 7.
Dude, can I just say I don't want to talk about toys because this is not Toy Geeks. But the new releases that they showed for the Godzilla figures, oh my gosh. Yeah. Little Smog Monster and Little Half.
Sure.
Speaking
of toys, though, I will be, after this show, jumping onto Ryan Dole's Gotham City tonight to talk about all the new Batman toys. So anybody that's watching this right now and loves Ryan Dole, be jumping onto his show.
Did they make a clay face?
No, it's for the Flash because it's like.
Sorry, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I saw that Flash Bat hybrid toy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There's a Bat Flash.
Okay, Gotham City tonight.
I'm going to tune in so I can learn more about that Bat Flash.
We'll leave here. I'll probably go pee and then jump on his show.
We're gonna have to wrap this up, guys.
We'll go our normal allotment. We'll get out here at 10:30, and then we'll go to the other thing. Charlie Weaver, we talking toys?
Speaking of toys, in this episode, that opening sequence with R5D4, with the 0G,
yeah, that's fun.
And I love the shot after he gets in his ship. He blows up the TIE fighter, and you see the TIE fighter dropping in the backdrop.
Yeah,
the one that he just shot down. I loved the background shots in that whole opening sequence, and like the use of that. It was
just a really nicely shot dogfight. I thought it was really
and then that movement. Cool. That movement with the
she like dropped the wing and like flipped around. I was like,
could we have not done that sooner, Bo? Like,
yes,
you were being dogged by 5
the whole time.
You feel like you could have gotten 2. So, I mean, Ray would have shot 3 TIE fighters.
Unbelievable! It's just unbelievable if she did.
Yeah. Anyway, that's The Last Jedi. We won't talk that. I
love The Last Jedi, for the record. Okay, I just want to put it out.
Yeah, you and I are.
It's just Rise of Skywalker. It's a big pile of crap.
So Mando, his cockpit is so sick.
I definitely love his cockpit.
It looks snug,
and not a shot got on him. So no laser fire.
His ship is so like thin, like there's nothing to shoot.
Right.
The profile is so small. It's a really good fighter plane. We like to give George Lucas crap for the prequels, but that Naboo starfighter, man, that thing is
that's like my third favorite Star Wars vehicle.
Okay, that's your third.
I love the Naboo. Number 1, Tantive 4, the blockade runner. I love that ship. Number 2 is a Y-wing.
Yeah.
I love the Y-wing, and then the Naboo fighter. I think it's my third. And I'm only a Falcon because, I mean, come on.
I don't know if I can come up.
Everybody loves the Falcon.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot. Matt, what's top 3 vehicles?
Top 3 off the top of my head.
Sandcrawler, Cloud Car, and
okay, no, Cloud Car is definitely on my list.
Family Landspeeder.
Okay, that was my first toy. If we're talking toys, Star Wars
just your favorite
vehicles?
Just your favorite vehicle.
Vehicles.
3
toys or whatever.
Vehicle, off the top of my head, the AT-AT, the Twin Cloud Car.
Vehicle?
I got one.
Yeah, no, the cloud car was definitely one. That was.
I was saying the AT-AT. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a vehicle. Whatever.
That's a vehicle. You just sit in the cockpit and it moves.
You said vehicle. I'm going.
I just think it's like a legged. It's a legged machine.
It's a vehicle.
Okay.
You get in it and drive it. You steer.
Do you
It's
even
got
drive it?
guns.
They're kind of just like pulling levers and stuff. They're like, is that a vehicle?
That's what tanks do. You pull levers and they move. That's a vehicle. It's
But
a
it has
vehicle.
treads. It has like wheels, essentially. I'm sorry.
We'll leave it up to the chat.
Yeah.
Do a poll. Can we do polls on this channel?
I think I still have to go with the X-wing, Luke's X-wing. It's still my favorite. So Empire, everything. All my ships are from Empire.
Ice cream is blue. Your favorite color.
Sorry, all of my ships are from Empire Strikes Back. That says something.
My favorite ice cream is the glowing kind.
The transport ship off of Hoth.
Rebel Transport's really cool.
Dude, I like the Rebel Transport.
And the the Super Star Destroyer. Those.
All right, we got from 4 seconds. Last week's guest, Jake.
Yes,
that is 100%
a vehicle. Thank you. So I felt a kinship with from Forlom to Zuckus after the show ended.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you guys are like essentially.
Oh my god. Yeah. It was kind of weird.
Yeah. They grew up together. Didn't realize it.
I felt like it was two NPCs like ran into each other in Free Guy. Like, wait, you have all the same attributes as me? You're in the same town I grew up in.
Ralph is
worked at the
convinced
same
that this
store
world is a simulation now after watching that. He was like, wait, what? That is too weird.
It was crazy. It was crazy how many things you had in common. It was it was like in
he's 46 too.
Hot Shots.
46.
Yeah. It was like in Hot Shots. Eagle River.
Yeah.
A hot dog sandwich, a fish can be a pet, and an AT as a vehicle. There you go.
All right.
See, Tommy the Duck, speeder bike, AT, old school Lincoln.
Oh, nice. I like the deep cut.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Speeder bike. I forgot about the speeder bike. That might have to.
Speeder bike is pretty cool.
Yeah, because I mean, ever since I saw the speeder bike, I wanted to have one of those. So, AT speeder bike. Luke's X-wing. Sorry, Ty.
Cloud
car. I love the color and I love the dual thing, but
you just went like this because you held the toy like that.
Yes. That's exactly what you did. It was basically it could also be a gun, like from Black Hole. You know, Disney's Black Hole. You know, they had the guns that were.
Yeah.
So all right.
Mike Chirlico, AT Y-wing clone transport ship. Ooh, yeah.
I feel justified by that.
Oh, is that the dropship from episode 2?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. I like those a lot.
Those are. Cool.
I really like those.
Yeah.
Like Doug Chang. Like just
did he
nailed the prequels.
Design also Dooku's sail ship?
It looks like a cloud car on its side.
Well, you know, they were trying to.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Scott T says the N1 performed basically a wing over maneuver when it went straight up and dropped. Okay, the fight.
Did you think of Batman when they did that shot?
Totally. I was like, it just needs a moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just go.
Instead, we just got the soundtrack that. You know, so.
But they should have done a. Charlie Weaver, Snowspeeder, speeder bike, troop transport.
Okay.
I always like the medical frigate.
Huh?
I always thought the medical frigate looked cool.
It's just because you thought you were cussing in front of your mom.
Frigate.
Medical frigate.
Tommy the Duck, he did that in the Razor Crest too, didn't he? When Grogu threw up his cookies. Oh
Kinda.
yeah, maybe yeah.
Well, Grogu was with Bo in that moment, so
no, he's gonna be did that move with the Razor Crest.
Oh right, he did the move with the.
And that's if you both were separated at birth.
We were not. No, so
that you know of.
They were
That
in
we
their,
know of.
They were in their 20s.
If he was born in
forgot.
Ohio, that would be another story, but I don't think so.
Well, we'll see if he mentions it in the chat.
Right. I was born in Defiance.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's going to be the same hospital too.
Right.
It was weird.
What?
That was after we were done streaming, right? That was so weird.
Nobody saw that except for us.
Compelling. It was compelling to watch.
I just want to leave it like that so the listeners just have this illusion.
I wish we were filming though, because it was kind of incredible. I'm not gonna lie.
It was weird.
People are watching like, I have no idea what they're talking about. Basically, we went off air last week, right? We had Jake from Forlorn Possessors. And usually it's just like chatting a little bit, what's going on, yada yada. But then this weird thing happened where like Jake and Matt, like basically there was like, oh, you're from Indiana. Oh, you're from a town you never heard of before, whatever town you're from. And it's
you're like, I'm sitting in that town right now.
I'm in that town
right now. I'm living in your house, man.
Our kids were relatively the same age.
Yes.
I mean, he has a son turning. I can't remember if his son was 13 or if he had a 12-year-old.
It was like both
13.
the same age.
Both the same age.
And your grandpa's worked at the same power plant or some shit. I don't know.
No, but we both went to Celebration 3 and we both stood in line for that like stupid Darth Vader toy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, straight up, all of this stuff was 12 and 16, exactly my kid's age is right now. My son's going to turn 13.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just throwing that out there.
Teachers, like he's a teacher and you teach as well.
That's true. Yep. All true.
That's true. All of it.
I didn't ask him, but because you guys were talking about
the answer is yes. I'm assuming
toys last week. And Ralph, you were kind of giving me, you're kind of blowing me stuff like, oh, Matt's bored now because we're talking toys or something. But I do have the entire, I do have the entire original vintage Star Wars line.
You have you have them all. You have Yak Face and everybody.
I do. It's a loose, and I do have some obviously boxed and carded, several. But I do have.
Do you have one of these?
I don't. I never. But sometimes I'll go down the.
This is a piece of art.
It is. It's beautiful.
Sometimes I go down the rabbit hole of eBay where it's just like, oh, what vintage Star Wars stuff can I buy for cheap? So
I think do you have the thing close by that is probably the stupidest vintage Star Wars thing?
Ooh, his earplugs are out, or is
trust me, I don't. I'm gonna make him big screen here, so don't show it. Keep it off screen there. Keep it okay. All right. So now,
I hope this.
So you bought this off eBay,
correct? Mm-hmm. This is a Puffs box of Kleenex. I paid more than 85 cents for it, but it is authentic. Never been opened before. Smells a little perfumey, like maybe it sat around in somebody's house. But I had one of these growing up, and I loved it so much. It was before I even had the actual Yoda's playset. I think my mom was basically like, we have to get him the Yoda playset so he'll stop playing with this stupid Kleenex box.
Your first Yoda playset was this Puffs box.
This was my Yoda's playset. Was this because it had this picture on it?
Yeah, that little cutout is kind of like the little door.
Yeah, and you could put stuff in there, and you played with it. And then one day my mom threw it out, and I was just like,
if you sneeze into enough of those tissues, it could be real swampy.
I could start growing plants out of it. But no, I love this one. I've thought about tracking down some of the other ones just to complete my collection.
And then what's the back? What's on the back of that? It's like a
R2.
Color in and cut out.
Color in and cut out. So Puffs. So yeah, it is probably one of the more silly things that I bought. I also picked up some Dixie cups from Return of the Jedi unopened. So
nice.
I like some of those weird kind of
like
especially if it's OT. So
yeah.
Anyway, this episode though, much like the middle section of this totally went on a different segue. And hopefully
I'm gonna share with you my one note, and I did this earlier today. If I can get it.
So bright, your screen's so bright, you're gonna burn out your eyeballs.
I'm trying to squint like that's gonna help. Oh, did you go on it? What? I'm confused.
So in this episode, they go to a space carnival.
Yep.
And the music's real dorky, but I'm like, hey, it reminded me of the sort of circus performance hologram thing that Lumpy watches in the holiday special.
Mm-hmm.
So I was okay with it.
Sure.
But as soon as Aaliyah mentions that, she mentions, you're still kind of stuck in this sort of bureaucracy, and they're telling you what to do and all this stuff. The carnival music starts playing John Williams' Resistance March from The Force Awakens, and it made me mad.
Okay,
I was so mad because it's diegetic music. It's music that's coming from the carnival.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm totally fine with the use of the Imperial, like that sort of weird Imperial march that they use in Solo, that they also used in Rebels. But like, it doesn't make sense that the carnival would all of a sudden play the Resistance theme.
And why not do a variation on something from, like, even
make it part of the score? That's fine. If this is the seeds that are planting for the Resistance, that's one thing. But it was the carnival music, and the carnival music changed into the Resistance theme, which drove me bonkers. It drove me bonkers.
No, I think that's a great catch. So is that the one thing that made you the most annoyed about anything that Disney's ever done?
Yes.
And I think you make a fair point that diegetic music, it's supposed to be just atmospheric music that is being created within the universe and shouldn't necessarily have overarching themes that, like, have other connections to the show.
And I mean, one of the only reasons why I'm cool with Solo having the Imperial March playing on the recruitment video is because it had already been established in Rebels. And in Rebels, I was like, okay, I guess I'll be okay with this. So
it upset you more because the march wasn't heard until Empire, because it wasn't in A New Hope.
No, it was just that didn't bother. It didn't really bother me at all.
Okay.
Because that just happens to be what they listen to. Let's say John Williams unearthed the Star Wars stuff and found that diegetic music and was like, oh, they're using that music for the recruitment tape. That would make a great theme for when I score the movie.
Gotcha.
With the carnival music, it just started playing the Resistance theme, and it was a little backwards to me. Yeah, it was a little backwards.
Before we move away from the carnival moment, because this also deals with the peak of Umate. Did I pronounce it right? I always feel like I'm going to pronounce something wrong.
That sounds right.
Okay. Well, there's definitely like there's a metaphor happening there of, like, what's going to happen later. Like, she sets him up. She sets him up initially to get caught with something, and should be a first clue there. Like, hey, maybe this girl shouldn't be trusted. Yeah. So I thought that was just kind of an interesting moment. Like, that it was just like, when I was watching it, kind of, I've only seen it 1.5 times through, before.
It's funny, you and Nelson like almost said it exactly at the same time.
Live a little. What could happen?
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess just the fact that you didn't, at some point you're kind of like, is she setting them up?
Yeah.
And for what purpose? What's her end goal? So it also kind of makes me wonder too, like, does she have some personal vendetta against him?
Honestly, she's working for Gideon. I believe that's it.
I like Ralph's theory there. Yeah. I like he's working for Gideon. He's working for so-and-so.
Okay. The one thing that made me mad was, or not mad, but just kind of like, wait a second here. Wait. Because I remember the end of the last episode, right?
I do too.
Like, okay, so they come up out of the water and we see her have her helmet off, correct? Because we see that, don't we see that expression on her face of like, oh my God, like maybe this guy's for real. This episode opens with her helmet on. And at the very end, when she's being asked by the
armor.
Yes, thank you. She says, I've had my helmet on the whole time, but clearly she hasn't. Well, I guess he was passed out, so they show him waking up, and then she has her.
You should like dip your hand back in the water real quick.
I guess so.
Listen, here's the thing. I feel like Bo-Katan is just sort of kissing.
She's
up
just
to
going.
them.
she's going
flying.
along. Yeah, she's going along with it just to kind of like. I guess since he was knocked out or he still hadn't come around, I guess then he hadn't seen her without her helmet on.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, that's the ticket. I never took my helmet off. I also never saw Mythosaur. Yeah, sure.
Exactly. She has ulterior.
Sure, I'll be in your cult.
Yeah. I did like that moment where she's looking at the Mythosaur skull.
Yeah. To me, she saw the Mythosaur. She saw her path to like reclaim power. And now she's like, oh, I can get all these, zealots to come be a part of my army. I need extra bodies.
Yeah.
And sure, I never took off my helmet, like, because she doesn't believe in any of that.
No.
It's like you're Catholic and during Lent, you're not supposed to eat meat on Fridays. You're like, oh yeah, I definitely don't eat meat on Fridays. Totally, never did. But it's one of my favorite Jim Gaffigan jokes is, don't eat meat on Fridays unless you forget.
Unless you forget.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, well, I won't go ahead.
But anyway, so that's how I saw it. So yes, you could say it's kind of anything, but she just doesn't care. She's like, yeah, sure, I never took off my helmet.
She's looking to use them, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Bo's got her own agenda here.
Absolutely.
So, and I think that it, like, okay, the one thing that we could say about, like, people that may have felt like this middle section of this Oreo cookie here was too long and chewy, is that...
And I was okay with that.
Is that perhaps we're seeing, obviously there's two converts in this episode, right? We've got Bo-Katan and we have Pershing. So, and how one goes one way will what happens with Bo go a different way. So I think there's an interesting parallel there as we see both, like, these two stories, I guess, play out with the convert and who is joining who and who has what motives.
Or who's playing who, right?
Yeah, because I feel like Pershing was kind of just blindly going into this and got played, whereas Bo isn't blind going into this. I think if anything, she's kind of
Pershing feels like a sort of an innocent kind of guy. I felt bad for him.
But also easily duped into either doing evil things or whatever. Like,
right? Is that
man, the guy's just got a clone. Okay, like he's just got a clone. Is that so bad? That's my hobby.
You only made
they kept showing his ear.
Well, he would do that like when he would lie or something, right?
No, he had like his busted up ear, and I feel like we're gonna get one with no clean ear, and it's gonna be a clone. It's gonna be our visual cue that's not the real Pershing. It's a clone.
I like that, but wasn't the ear is from the incident with Mandalorian blasting the gun next to his
So I think that's original Pershing. They might have a clone Pershing, and they're just bringing the stuff that he needs. She took that box from him that he was trying to get from the Star Destroyer. They're probably trying to take that to the clone Pershing. It's like, okay, this is the stuff he was looking for. Can you do something with it? And he'll be like, okay, I know exactly what he was doing, and he can continue the work for Gideon. And we'll see he has got a regular ear, or a non-blaster.
But I mean, like,
ear.
He's not going to have the knowledge from before because he's just going to be a clone.
That's why they needed him to get the stuff, so that they knew what to use. They can pass on the knowledge. That's what they did with the clone.
Have you seen Avatar 2? They talk about that there.
I haven't.
Right, Jake in the chat is mentioning, is he dead?
Okay, something. You notice how quick he's like, oh, Jake in the chat.
Well, because we're like twins now. It's like I got to look out for him.
He knows what Jake's going to type before he.
I did. I actually have his account now. Is he dead? And if so, can you discuss for me why we needed this ending story for Pershing? So,
I don't think it is an ending.
I think
it is ending.
Like,
I think the next time we see Pershing, he'll have an okay ear, and we'll realize it's a clone. And this other Pershing, whose memory is all jacked up, might be picked up by the Resistance and used for something.
I don't subscribe to anything Ralph believes, but that's okay. The idea is.
I believe that an AT-AT was a vehicle. So
what did you say?
I said, do you at least subscribe to live action Star Wars? I think that's all Ralph cares about.
I do, and I subscribe to the fact that all fans, all of us, can have these different wild theories going into the show, and that's what makes it really beautiful. Is that we can theorize on stuff. No, it's fun. That's the fun part. I like it. Boo! You suck. You just mute me, kick me off the show.
Way to both sides it.
You have to disclaimer: Matt's views do not reflect
anybody on the planet.
There is one canon, and that's it. You must believe it.
All right, that's it. An AT-AT is no longer a vehicle. I do not believe that.
It is a vehicle.
Sorry, no, it's not. It's a leggy thing.
Thank you. It's a leggy thing that is not a vehicle. Vehicles have wheels or jets.
Okay, space train.
Treads.
The space train
treads.
Treads.
Not legs.
Or an outrigger or skis.
Definitely skis.
It works.
Because
there was enough stuff in the chat that people were all choosing.
A vehicle has to move quicker than I can with my own two legs, right? Otherwise, what's the purpose of the vehicle? An AT-AT.
Luke only caught up because he had the Force. Oh wait, I forgot I'm on your side.
Okay, speaking of the Empire, where did these?
Time of the Duck? Yes, is a horse a vehicle?
It's a creature. I mean, do you?
Hold on. I think we need to. Hold on. We need to Google this. I can't.
Okay.
Is a horse? Is a horse a vehicle?
I know.
I did want to talk. Do we get
sorry. Spoiler alert.
Spoilers. Okay. This is live action Google searching.
Vehicle.
Is a woman a vehicle? What are you typing? I'm just giving Jay.
Vehicle. Okay.
That's for the podcast.
Pronouncing
it.
Vehicle. A means by which something is passed along, expressed, or achieved or shown. Movies are. That's not the vehicle I want.
Is alcohol a vehicle?
Today is the Ides of March.
I lost.
Today, and there's a great song called "Vehicle" by a band called Ides of March. This is very, very specific to this day that we're looking at vehicle.
I'm wrong. A motor vehicle, a piece of mechanized equipment. Wait, that's not a definition. Okay, a means of carrying or transporting something. So I guess it is a vehicle.
Well, no, because if you Google is a horse a vehicle, it says horses are not vehicles. So while a horse is certainly
a vehicle, we'll go straight to the source. Is the AT-AT a vehicle?
Yeah, Merriam-Webster hasn't seen Star Wars before. What does she know?
And combat vehicle. Yes.
I mean, it's an all-terrain armored transport. In a transport.
Cue the Queen music.
Now we're gonna get flagged.
Hold on, I got you. I may have gotten rid of the Rocky music. So, sorry, I replaced it with the Jeffries Award music. Still kind of works.
Sure.
Anyway,
we won, my friends. We won.
A horse is a mount.
Let's wrap this episode before we go to screen memes.
Yeah.
Thoughts on on that conclusion? Where does the show go from here?
I hope back to more Mando.
Because we could use another 10 minutes seeing the flying around doing nothing, not adding to the story at all.
Flying around and walking is fine. The dog
fights in this were awesome. What are you talking about?
But they didn't add anything to the story.
Who cares? It was pew pew.
You just asked about the story.
You got a feeling of a story here, of like a story that went nowhere with Dr. Pershing getting his mind wiped, and we don't know what's going to happen to him. All right. It was good. I liked the world building. I'm with Ralph on the world building, and we got a little bit of Andor.
If this wasn't an episode of Mandalorian, let's say they put out some sort of anthology series, and this was like episode 2 of an anthology series, what would you think of this episode? Pretty good, huh?
If it was an anthology series, yes, pretty good. And I go back to many conversations that the three of us have had where I feel like they should have just came out with the Star Wars anthology show.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
if I'm tuning in for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour every week for anything that you're throwing at me from any time period, I'm in. So,
my thing is, I feel like they felt this was important enough to take up one of the 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see where that story goes. Because if we end this season with the Snoke, I mean, come on. Right?
Yeah. I will say I liked it being in there, but I was mentioning how I loved Andor. It's probably one of my favorite, if not favorite, Disney Star Wars things so far.
I believe it is the best.
I wouldn't argue. I really wouldn't argue with you because that's how much I enjoyed it as well. And we enjoyed talking about it right here in GDL too. Go check out the archives. But there is something I had enjoyed the family watching Mando together, and in this one, my sons were like, "When's Mando coming back? Where the hell is Mando?" They didn't say where the hell is Mando. We're like, "Where's Mando?
Where the hell is that guy?"
And then finally they go back to it, and my son's like, "Yay, Mando's back!" So it's just,
and then it's like, yeah, and it's over. No, my daughter was the same way, and I think that runs the age gambit there, where you can have like little kids that were frustrated and bigger kids that were frustrated that like, hey, like halfway through, she's like, okay, this is cool and all, but and then I think they were both kind of like freaked out about the mind flayer aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like there's
it wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad as Bix.
Oh. I realize that it's not as bad as Bix. However,
I love the guy was just like, oh, it's not bad. I do it to myself all the time. It feels good.
Well, if you have a big cranium,
said it was a trap.
I mean, did you see the cranium on that dude? I mean, like he's probably can't get enough of his brain zapped. Anyway,
exactly. I think there's a lot of us that watch Mando with our kids. Was like, can we get to the fun stuff?
Yeah, and especially
I think most of us did like it.
Yeah. But it is a little bit of like getting your sweet sugary cereal, and then all of a sudden you're like, here's some bran flakes, kids. Toughen up. This is the good stuff,
I like bran flakes. I do.
Or it's kind of like
good analogy then, huh? Works.
You're watching some show and it's like pre-cable, and you're on an antenna, and all of a sudden it goes to like some British masterpiece theater or something. It's just like, wait, no, give me the cartoons, damn it. I don't have a choice. I have to watch this.
It's like having to watch the Bridge Over the River Kwai with your dad on a Saturday afternoon, and he's like, oh, that's the guy that played Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you're like, okay, cool.
I'm gonna go in my room and play Genesis. See ya.
Yeah. But you're desperate for a TV, so you got to just go for it.
I did. I just put up with it because it was the 80s, and you just had your toys to play with. That was it.
Say my 5-year-old daughter, where's Mando? Says Rick Never Ending Toys. Charlie Weaver, that Mon Calamari is like Steve Martin's dentist in Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah,
I like that reference. And what's up with the Mon Calamari that was like almost gold looking? Like it was like a black, dark red kind of mix.
He was exfoliating, I think.
Okay, that makes sense. That checks out.
Like some like rich people that have too much time, they probably over exfoliate and their skin just looks almost, it's like glistening too much. I've seen it on the internet. All right.
Screen memes.
Yeah. Any other thoughts before we go to screen memes?
I liked it.
Same.
I like Star Wars, so.
I like the Star Wars.
I like Star Wars. Okay. Screen memes. So I'm going to put a link in the chat. You can play along.
Meme DeLorean. I like that.
Yes, Meme DeLorean is what we are calling the screen memes for the Mandalorian. I just put a link in the chat if you want to play along with us at home. And big thanks to Colleen and Kayla Silva.
What a cool graphic with the Andalorians thrown in there.
Isn't that great? Mm-hmm. Colleen is doing a bang up job on the website, everybody, by the way. So let's give Colleen some love. She did this really great article on a review of Ted Lasso.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's on the front page there. If you're a Ted Lasso fan.
Yeah. That was the other show that I watched with my kids. F-bombs and all.
I'm going to bother Colleen.
Kind of a bummer one to watch with the kids, though. I feel
it was, yeah. But it's still nice to have that show back. Anyway.
That was
All
good.
right, meme DeLorean time. All right, starting with
out of
stories without
context.
context.
Ooh, out of context. Yes. One is jumping out of the back of parachuting out of the back of a aircraft
Airplane?
carrier, right?
The
So
vehicle.
Disneyland exploding. Okay,
The
I get that.
castle.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bo-Katan's poor castle. And then we have Harry Potter. I even called it in the actual episode. I was like, "Oh, you're a wizard, Harry." It's
I like.
what? Go ahead.
I just like that you're not doing counterclockwise. You're doing a completely different
I am.
route
I'm doing
on
it.
the images.
I'm
this
not
week.
doing it comic book style. I'm doing it down. Doing it more.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the bottom one was like two people being lifted up
I
and
think
celebrated.
it's Mando and Bo-Katan at the end.
Okay, yeah, it's like a cult retreat. That makes sense.
And the second one,
Oh yes, more. What is this first one? It's sugar
biscuits.
cookies. Oh yeah, the
It's a
biscuits. We
MR
forgot
it's
to
a
talk about
MRE.
the biscuits.
It's an
Yellow.
MRE.
He prefers the yellow travel biscuits. She prefers the red one. That should have been another red herring.
That's
there.
true.
She's for the red biscuits, guys. Okay, jumping the turnstiles because I'm going to keep with what Ralph likes about how I'm doing these. And then it's a trap. And then we have the
One flew over the
One
cuckoo's
flew over the
nest.
cuckoo's nest. I wanted to say Clockwork Orange, but I was like,
Yeah.
no, it's a cuckoo.
I mean, it definitely had Clockwork Orange vibes. The whole like reprogramming.
Yeah.
Or Room 23.
Yeah.
See no evil.
Yeah.
I like how that's in there.
Bo-Katan about the mythosaur. I pretend I do not see.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that they would have had another shot of her staring at that mythosaur.
Agreed.
I really liked that moment when she was
Yep.
looking at it. I wanted more of that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But seriously, what show are we watching this week? Mandalorian. Was this episode Boba Fett's Revenge? Boba Fett after the amount of Mandalorian in this episode.
I love that. I always like that. Like the tongues just sticking.
I will. This meme is one of my favorites. Anytime it's
I don't know where it came from, but I love it.
yes, I think it's a commercial or something. I don't know. There's meme history
It's
here.
good.
All of us after hearing the March of the Resistance theme playing in the background on Coruscant.
I think Ralph was doing
the Ralph made. This is it.
I think Ralph was doing more of a scowling face. Leonardo DiCaprio in this is kind
I'll
of
do more of a.
You definitely weren't drinking a beer while you were watching it. You were like
and a cig, beer and cig. One hand.
I was eating breakfast because it was 5:30 in the morning.
And if you didn't hear this song, me seeing
sing.
Coruscant after watching Andor. Sorry, I'm reading it.
Oh, please go ahead.
A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. Palpatine.
It was nice.
Yeah, it was. It was really
nice.
cool.
Occupy
Oh
Coruscant.
boy, this guy.
Oh my gosh.
It's
yes.
interesting how no matter who's in charge of the galaxy, the rich and privileged are not affected by the happenings outside of the comfort of their wealth, and definitely turned a blind eye to what was happening with the Empire and Reign.
The guy looks like a Rankin Bass character.
Right? Empire was
That is a nice reference there.
We try not to get involved. It's like, oh, what a.
This is the Bing Crosby version of Rankin Bass, basically. Like if come to life. Like if you took that. Yeah.
Santa Claus.
In real life.
Colleen said this one was for you, Matt.
Oh, the literary nerds? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That I'm
Galactic Empire, 1984, New Republic, Brave New
World. Yeah, I could see that.
You want to explain it to any of the non-book nerds out there, Matt?
Well, I guess just the 1984 reference, with.
I think most people know 1984. I didn't know I haven't read Brave New World. I've read 1984.
Well, Brave New World has more to do with like birthing. I thought, and the control over. I like how you're scrolling past it already.
We're done.
I'm bored already. Let's move on.
He's got to get over to his toy.
Oh yeah, no, chop.
No,
We gotta. Yeah.
Pershing, she brought me there. It was a trap. This MFer. You go, Glen Coke. Officer G68 watching as Dr. Pershing follows her trap into being mind flayed. You're doing amazing, sweetie.
I like how this is a picture of Pedro Pascal too. So
did you watch his Hot Ones on on YouTube?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's a good one.
Good.
If you watch Hot Ones at any point in time,
I have. I've seen Hot Ones.
okay.
Yes.
Highly recommend if you haven't seen it at all. But he was on one of the more recent episodes. Ken, I loved watching old bathwater. I can't help it, my kind of man. Dinjarin, are you selling your bathwater, please? Dinjarin, please, I'll purchase it at any price. Especially OnlyFans for that.
I get you.
We're here for this. What if I ship them? Welcome, Bo Katan of Clan Kreese. This is the way. There we go.
What if I ship them? Yes. I don't know how that's going to work out because
I want to see them fight. I want Bo-Katan to take that Darksaber and split the armor's helmet in two.
That's the only shipping I'm doing. Is I want to see them.
It won't work because it's Beskar.
No, I don't care. That's
I still think she's a model. I still think she's a Mandalorian. I mean, she's got the horns, right? You know, from when Maul took over. Yeah. Right. She's a remnant of that.
For sure.
Anyway, sorry.
I want to be the first one to see a Maul.
The Mandalorians congratulating Bo-Katan for redeeming herself.
I like this because it's an Office reference as well, and it's like the first image of Michael Scott when he had like a mullet and he's just like stunned and shocked.
It's Ed Trucker.
Ed Trucker.
What was his old manager?
Advance.
No,
it's not Advance.
Advance was the refrigerator guy.
Yeah, no. Trucker was the one that got his head decapitated, right?
Horrible friend. He was get decapitated.
Oh, you're talking about
Kappa was detated. Anyways, this one's from Mike Hex. Moral of the story: never have Pedro Pascal deliver your kid for medical procedure. Always ends the same. Last of Us. Basically how the episode, I believe, is very similar to.
I don't understand this. I'm confused.
I think it's similar to this one too.
It's like someone took their homework and replaced it.
Okay, I see.
Yes.
I haven't seen last one. So.
God, what's his name? Ed Truck. Oh, Misha just said it as well. Ed Truck. Damn it, I knew
it. But no, the other guy that was with him when he got hired though is the one that everybody hates. Remember, he always like shows up, and he's like really annoying and played by Keckner. Keckner does a great job. Anyway,
love this one going around a little while ago. If your girl is watching The Last of Us and The Mandalorian, that ain't your girl. That's Pedro Pascal's girl. And last but not least, find a nickel for every time. Episode 3 of a 2023 Pedro Pascal show featured him at the beginning and the end, but had different character for the middle. I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
These are great submissions.
Yeah.
I kind of hope maybe next week, and maybe I'll have to submit my own. We need to get some more SpongeBob in there, guys. We need to get
please,
more SpongeBob memes.
You know how I feel about the Sponge Man, so
got to do it.
Todd Packer, yes, thank you. Mutagen ooze.
It's mutagen.
Mutagen.
It's mutagen.
Mutagen.
Have you ever? Do you not know? Do you not know Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Mutagen?
Sure, I do. I knew exactly what that
was. Oh God!
And that is how you end a GDL show and make sure that you're never invited back.
That's not true. Anyway, that is it for this episode of Live Reactions of Mandalorian Season 3. You can follow Ralph at Casino Skunk, but if you love more Star Wars talk, give him a follow over at Live Action Star Wars. Great YouTube channel that does coverage every single week, so check that out. And then Ralph is also producing a documentary on the TV show Lost. And Ralph, where can people find that coverage or socials?
At Getting Lost Doc. And it's a real documentary.
It is.
Like, if anybody of you seen The Last Blockbuster, which was a great documentary on Netflix, same guy's directing it and asked me to produce. So
here's my thing.
I could tell you,
I am not going to really do any work promoting it at all until there's pictures of me being interviewed. Then
we are planning our East Coast trip.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, no. Check it out.
Tomorrow, I'm going to give you a scoop.
Oh.
Tomorrow, we are announcing Andrea Gabriel's involvement with the film. We have shot her her interview, and she played Nadia.
Yes, I think it's
Andrea
Gabrielle. So just make sure you pronounce her name right when you see it.
I know it's Andrea.
Yeah, Andrea.
Don't pull a Matt, okay?
Just don't call Evangeline Lily Evie. That was the one mistake I made.
Or Mutagen Ooze.
Mutagen.
Mutagen Ooze.
Mutagen Matt should be next week right here. It'll say Mutagen Matt. Remember that?
Yes. Oh my God. Time for the duck. Your J&J last podcast is what interests me. Podcast. Oh, thank you so much. Just means I've been doing this for way too effing long.
I designed the logo. It was a no-brainer.
It was. You did design the logo.
If anyone else would have done it, if you guys didn't get in there
Luckily,
first.
you got there first, Ralph.
And now it's obsolete.
It is.
The iPod.
It's classic. Matt, I'm kind of ticked that you don't have everyday_inventors on Twitter because I tried to tag you in my Twitter post the other day and you did not.
He does.
Oh, I don't have it on Twitter. No,
I
thought you did.
I just have. I'm just on Instagram and TikTok, and I do.
I know where
post
you are on
videos,
Twitter.
So, what's up? I will try to get it. There's probably already an everyday.
There's not. There's no everyday_inventors. So
okay, well,
probably too many left. But I know where Matt's personal one is.
Woo.
All right, I gotta go run over to join Dole's Gotham City tonight. So if you want to keep talking, not Star Wars, but Batman, all the Batman reveals, head on over to Gotham City tonight on YouTube. He's probably already going live now. Just be joining in a little bit late. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I will see you all next Wednesday. Everybody in the chat, thank you for hanging out with us. And until next time, hasta luego and goodbye.